Hello, Cancer. This is Michelle, and I'm here to do your February 2020 tarot reading. This month we're using the Classic Rider-Waite Tarot deck by US Games, and I've also brought back a saint card for you. This is Saint Barbara. This card is from the deck Voices of Saints by Los Scarabeo, and we pulled Saint Barbara for you in December. We were going to read up a little bit about her, learn about her life, and so I'm bringing the card back. It's a fascinating story, and I'll talk a little bit about that after your general reading. So what are the messages we need to know for our Cancer friends? Highest and best good for the sign of Cancer. Let's take a look. Well, Cancer, on the bottom of the deck, we see the Knight of Pentacles. This is telling me that for some of you, you've done a lot of preparation. You might feel like you're actually not starting out on this road, but it is just very good to know. We can take comfort in knowing, I should say, that everything is ready to go. For some of you also, this could pertain to something that has to do with writing. And so for those of you that are perhaps writers or poets, it seems as though everything is just waiting. It's inside and ready to come out. So it might also be a good time to start drafting for some of you, for the writers out there. Oh, and this is beautiful to see. I'm so happy to start with the Three of Cups for you, Cancer, because truth be told, there is quite a bit of difficult energy in the astrology chart coming out of January with that exact Pluto-Saturn conjunction. A lot of us had difficulties in January, but the Three of Cups is suggesting to me, or putting an emphasis, I should say, at the start, with all of the energy coming in to Pisces. Of course, Neptune is already there, but we will have the Sun later in the month. We will have Mercury in retrograde in Pisces. Also, Venus starts out the month in Pisces. That's important for you, Cancer, because it is trining your sign. And so this is suggesting that despite any difficulties that may have been or presented a challenge for you, that it can also be a time to relax a little bit, look at the positive side of things. That is what I'm saying. I'm holding back from saying celebration at this time, but definitely that there is a way in which you can reflect and look at the positive side of everything that has happened. And I believe many of you are doing that already now. The Ace of Wands crossing, all right, suggesting that perhaps a new start is just ahead. You might be feeling like, oh, it is time to put the old energy behind me, get a fresh start. I think that for a lot of us, we are going through a complicated process, let me say. And so it could be a time where you aren't able to actually jump ahead very quickly into this new process, but you might be thinking about it. Let me put it that way. And so good for you, good for you. Let's continue to take a look. We have the Ten of Pentacles coming into the reading. Beautiful to see. I'm very happy to see that. And the Seven of Pentacles. All right, very interesting. So it looks like perhaps there are some questions right now regarding resources or finances for some of you. You might be wishing for a windfall to come in. I will say that the traditional meaning for the Ten of Pentacles is a legacy or an inheritance, I will say that, of some sort, but it could also be a windfall. And you might be in a position where you are waiting to see if that windfall or that extra cash is going to come through. Let's leave it at that for the moment as we continue. And now we have the Page of Pentacles coming in. All right, very interesting. I'm just really associating this right off the bat with that Knight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. And so you may have been looking towards making a fresh start, something to do perhaps with a new business, a new line of work, a new career, a new financial picture, I might say. And let's just take a look at that again. With the Knight of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, it looks like there has been some preparation going on to bring that about. And now, oh my goodness, the Queen of Pentacles, all of this earth energy coming through in your reading. I'm very happy to see it, Cancer, because it means this, that I think that you are looking at things in a very practical manner. I'm going to get back a little bit into this Pisces energy and then the Cancer water energy. There can be a tendency to sort of drift off into, let's say, some very, some dreams that feel very good. It could even be a temptation a little bit to sort of drift off into a dream land, I want to say. I think that that can be a good escape, but the reading is telling me that that isn't something that you're doing 24/7. Maybe it's just now and then that you are allowing yourself to just have a nice dream about the future. But what this picture is saying is that you are spending quite a bit of time with actual practical needs. It looks like something practical, something that has to do with materiality or wealth is calling your attention right now. We have Pentacles, look at this, absolutely surrounding everything in your reading. Let's go back to this Three of Cups, and let me just say, again, not so much the sense of celebration, but just that whatever has happened in the past, this is all going to turn for the good. Even if getting started or that brand new day coming in is a little bit of a challenge. And my goodness, it is the Eight of Pentacles. Well, you saw me shuffle that deck. Goodness, what a run of coins we are seeing here. This also absolutely backs up that Knight of Pentacles, because it is saying very clearly that you have done so much work, Cancer. You have really kept your nose to the grindstone. You have a lot of accomplishments behind you. Your resume is full at this time. If you don't feel that way, you might think in alternative ways about all of the skills and I want to say the experience that you have behind you. Something that I am picking up now from this Eight of Coins is that not only do you present to the world that you have this wealth of experience, but also that this wealth of experience can now help you with your future life, moving into your future life. And now we have the Magician coming in. I am just feeling this huge sigh of relief, Cancer. I have to say, the Pluto-Saturn conjunction opposing your sign potentially could have been rough for many of you, but this reading, the tarot is saying that a brand new day is dawning and that the skies will be golden for you. Golden and blue. Look at this beautiful energy coming in. Let's take a look. Now we have the Five of Cups. Oh my goodness. All right. The astrology is all over this reading. Again, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, it's still in effect, but it was exact in January. And for many of us, it represented a very difficult time, either of loss or grief or limitations, restrictions that were imposed. But with this 5, we can see the loss here in the spilled cups. And here we see the 2 cups though, right? This is the opportunity as we move ahead. And so all that needs to happen is to turn around and then allow that new day to begin. In this position in the spread, this is suggesting to me that you might be vacillating a little bit, which is absolutely understandable and reasonable and normal. And so you might be going back and forth a little bit, looking at the past, thinking about the difficulties, thinking about the limitations. But I have to say, overall, Cancer, there is certainly an opportunity to turn towards the future and see all of the positive things that are possible for you. And now we have the 9 of Rods coming in. So let me say this, Cancer, you have been through a lot. This could be actually, this seems to me like in a longer period of time. This doesn't look to me like it is just January. It looks to me like you have been through a very difficult time. This has been a big process. You have come to the end of the process, and if you are not at the end, it looks like it is coming soon, and this is welcome. Let me say that. It is a welcome to come to the end of this difficult, trying period. You are almost there. I am going to say with the rods coming in that it does look like for some of you this has to do with a social situation. With the 10 of Pentacles, it could also have to do with family. You have reached a pinnacle, a conclusion. Congratulations, I want to say, for some of you for getting through such a difficult time and looking at ways that you can make everything become more positive. I see you looking at the positive side of the situation. And now we're going to talk just a little bit about Saint Barbara, who came in to your reading for December. Well, Saint Barbara actually came in for many signs. I was shuffling quite a few cards at that time, if you'll recall. Saint Barbara was there for a number of the astrological signs. And at the time, I didn't know really anything about her and what the symbols were. But I did read up on her, and it turns out that she is actually a major saint. She is known as the Great Martyr Barbara, and she is a Greek saint. Something also that I notice is that her story seems to be typical in many ways of the early martyrs, in that she had great physical beauty. She was a physical beauty, of course, beautiful in her heart as well, but on the exterior, she was very beautiful. Her father wanted to protect her for this reason. And so, as the story goes, he locked her up in a tower. And at the time, I wasn't sure what this symbol was, but I believe that this could be the tower that she was locked up in. As a child, she was educated by pagan instructors. Her father was pagan. But as she was in the tower, she would look out these windows to the beautiful countryside all around her, and she came to an understanding that there was only one God. There was only one Christ, Jesus, and she devoted herself to Jesus entirely. Her father, of course, did not like the idea that she was going to do this or had done this already. He wanted her to marry, of course. And so he set her free from the tower. thinking she would become more worldly. The exact opposite happened because she ended up meeting more Christians. Her faith only deepened. All right. And so, as it goes with many of these ancient martyrs, the story it comes to a tragic ending, of course, when her father found out that she became a Christian formally. He had her tortured. I had a hard time saying that. I have a hard time really even comprehending this part of the story. And I wasn't even thinking about that when I brought these cards up in December. But this was the case for many of the martyrs. She was tortured by her father. Jesus came to her on the earth plane and healed her wounds. This is one of the miracles of the story. There are others, though. Finally, however, this is also common in these martyr stories. She was beheaded by her father. Now, this picture down here we didn't understand at the time, or I didn't, which is this man that she is standing upon. As the story goes, after she was beheaded, her father was struck by lightning and killed. Now, some of the stories also say that an authority figure, her persecutor that was also part of this beheading, was also struck by lightning. So a very tragic ending. But here's what I'm picking up from this for you, Cancer, as I think about this and put this together, and even thinking about your reading here today. These saints had absolutely unswerving faith. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. It wasn't even faith, it was a knowing that Christ was with them, and everything in the end was going to be fine for them. Just even going through such a treacherous time as being tortured to death and beheaded, the saints held on to their faith throughout. I feel as I've just done this reading for you, Cancer, that there's a way in which some of you may have been through quite a difficult time looking at this Five of Cups, and also the Nine of Rods here, suggesting to me that there have been some difficult times. But Cancer, I feel that of all the signs actually in the zodiac, that you have an ability to bounce back from these difficult times, to bounce back and find your way back to optimism and to looking towards the positive side of things. All right, Cancer, that's your reading for February 2020. I want to thank you so much for coming back to the channel for another reading. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, and I'll see you next time.